G'day everybody, welcome back to the 50-yard line. This is going to be our second episode. We are looking back at the week that was for week 2 in college football. I think to say it was a blowout week will probably be an understatement, that is for sure. So we've got a few things to go through today. Welcome back to Chris, our resident expert. Welcome to you. Hopefully your week has been fine.
Good evening. The Nomad is in Studio B. As you notice, the artwork on the wall. I don't have artwork in my homes ever.
Yep.
But you notice the artwork on the wall. You can probably kind of tell where I'm at right now, just from that thing right there.
Very, very apt. Very apt for where you are at the moment. That's it. That's exactly right. So for week 2, on paper, cake week for everybody. Kind of went to script. Maybe a few kind of hiccups. Maybe an upset or two. But we'll get to the blowouts in just a little while. There's a few to go through for the blowout. So
oh yeah, plenty of them to go through.
Plenty of them to go through.
Yeah, this week 2, after the blockbusters we had in week 1 with Ohio State and Texas, and a couple other big games, Notre Dame and Miami comes to mind. Week 2 was kind of the week where everybody decided we're going to play paycheck games. And so we wind up with Love Children of Mr. Whipple and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We're talking soft.
That's exactly right.
In week 2 schedule.
I think that reflects in the fact that over 5 teams hit 70 points this week, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And with the highest scoring team was Florida State, 77 points.
Yes.
That's
77,
crazy. That's
77 points. The week after they beat Bama by 2 touchdowns.
That's right.
So everybody in Tallahassee right now is going, we back, baby. We back.
That's exactly right. So let's jump into our first one that we're going to talk about, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Oklahoma being back, putting in a fantastic performance there against Michigan, which I must say kind of looked very pedestrian, I must say, against Oklahoma there. So Oklahoma's got their...
They did.
I was going to say Oklahoma's got their new quarterback on board as well. John Mater.
And he looked like a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah. Based
on the way he played Saturday night.
Yeah.
And this was one of the games that, to Oklahoma and Michigan's credit, this was not one of the love children on the week 2 schedule.
Yeah.
This was the blockbuster. This was the only ranked versus ranked matchup on Saturday. And, of course, prime time on ABC.
Yeah.
And we got a show. Now, I got to do a little bit of this right now because you saw Saturday leading into the game, and a whole lot of experts were saying, Michigan's going to
win it. That's exactly right. They're going to walk away with it.
My first thought, and there's no disrespect here, but freshman quarterback going into Norman, 80,000 Oklahoma fans in the building. Now, a decent showing by the Michigan fans. I know there was a fair amount of maize and blue in the stadium in Norman on Saturday night, but man, they were drowned out by the Oklahoma fans.
Yep.
And when you're a true freshman going into that environment for the first time, going into an environment like that, true road game against a nationally ranked team, they were 18th in the nation last week going into the game. The nerves can start twitching. The pucker factor goes up a little bit.
That's it.
And it can affect you. And you look at the stats from the game, 9 of 24 for $142 throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Not a great performance. Compare that to Mateer, 270 yards, 21 to 34 passing, a touchdown, and an interception.
Yep.
That was a statement performance, and for an Oklahoma team that went 6-6 last regular season, did have that signature shutout win over Alabama, though, at the end of the season last year. But still, they were a 500 ball club last year.
Yeah.
To come out against Michigan, who 2 years ago won the national championship. Now, of course, most of the personnel has moved on from that national championship team, including their head coach. But still, for Oklahoma to do that, it could be a sign of their back.
That's exactly right.
Is going to be and will be a player in the Southeastern Conference and in the playoff rankings come late season.
I think what you're saying there about the new quarterback, definitely one to watch. As far as I know, I've read that they put out $3 million to get him from Washington. So he seems like he's kind of made a direct impact straight away. So he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He looks comfortable throwing or either running. I think he's going to be definitely one to watch for this season.
Yeah, he was in fact the leading rusher for Oklahoma Saturday night. In addition to what he was doing passing, 74 yards on 19 carries and those 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
That is you want to talk about a statement performance early in the season by a quarterback to maybe put yourself into the Heisman race, into the talk about it. That's the kind of performance you want against number 15 team in the country in prime time.
That's right. So just looking forward in Oklahoma's schedule here, they've got Texas coming up in October, Tennessee, and then obviously Alabama. So Missouri at the end there. So the strength of schedule is pretty good going forward. So it'd be interesting to see how that's going to convert into how many games they're going to take away the win. So if they play like they did,
well, how about their game next week?
Yeah.
How about their game coming up this week? This is one of the strangest games you'll see on the schedule all year. Oklahoma is playing Temple. Now, okay, sounds like a paycheck game, right?
Yep.
The game's being played at Temple. It's being played in Philadelphia, not in Norman. That is an odd scheduling quirk this year to see a major brand like Oklahoma go on the road against a Group of 5 team.
Yeah,
you don't see that a lot.
So I think that's going to be fantastic for Temple.
To them to
take that on the road.
It will be. The crowd they're going to get. Coming in to this game on Saturday, Saturday, it's a high noon kickoff in Philadelphia. They're going to get a nice crowd out of this. Now, granted, fair amount of it we wearing Oklahoma colors.
That certainly will be,
but you know what? Their money's just as green as Temple fans' money is.
That's it.
But the rest of their schedule. I mean, I'm looking at. They've got Auburn, the week after.
That's right.
Then
Kent State.
They're playing Kent State.
Yeah.
Kent State, that's a paycheck game right there.
Yeah.
And
then they're going to hit
the showdown
Texas,
at the State Fair at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Yeah.
Against Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Man, you look at the
it's
number.
Pretty,
look at the ranked
pretty
teams
tough.
on Oklahoma's schedule.
Yep. And then you've got Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. That's pretty tough.
With the exception of Temple and Kent State, which is a bottom 10 stalwart, everybody else they're playing on their schedule, they're ranked now.
They're ranked. That's right.
Even if Oklahoma loses a couple of those conference games, they're a player.
Yep.
They will absolutely be a player come the end of the season in college football playoff.
Yes. So they're sitting number 13 in the rankings at the moment. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do with the rest of that schedule. That's a pretty tough schedule by anybody's standard, I think. So I think that's going to be. It
is. And the only schedule that can compare to it is Florida's, and we'll talk about Florida here in just a second.
We'll talk about them in just a moment. Yes. Old Florida. So I think, as I said, Oklahoma, new quarterback, definitely one to watch. Maybe even sneaking into Heisman Trophy era. So who knows? So one to watch. That's for sure. That's for sure. So talking about Florida and the SES, obviously Mississippi State getting up and winning, which is fantastic to see them.
Yep. Well, considering what Mississippi State was last year, what they did Saturday night against Arizona State in Starkville with the cowbells clanging all night long. If you've got issues with loud, shrill noises, don't watch a Mississippi State home game because it is cowbell central. But Mississippi State, this is a win that can flip the fortunes of a program. This was a team last year, bottom of the SEC. I mean, they were the new school Vandy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how bad Mississippi State was last year, against bringing in the defending Big 12 champion, playoff team from a year ago, Arizona State. And I'll tell you what, Mississippi State came out and punched Arizona State in the mouth.
Yep.
On Saturday.
Yep.
You know, they were up 17-0 early in the second quarter. And at that point, Arizona State is on the canvas looking for its mouthpiece at the count of 6. I mean, they were on the verge of a knockout blow.
Yeah.
To Arizona State's credit, though, they came back, got a field goal at the halftime gun just to get on the board and stop the bleeding. Came out, had a third quarter touchdown, fourth quarter touchdown, and then actually took the lead with 1:38 left with a field goal.
Yeah.
Gomez hit a chip shot field goal from 18 yards out, made it 20-17. So you figure, okay, Arizona State, top 12 team, defending Big 12 champions. Hey, Mississippi State, you had a hell of a game.
Yeah, that's right.
You played it. You took the defending Big 12 champs to the brink.
Yep.
So no disgrace whatsoever in losing this game to Arizona State. What does Mississippi State do? Oh, I don't know. Brennan Thompson catching a 58-yard touchdown pass with 30 seconds left. Nice little catch and run to give Mississippi State a 24-20 win. The crowd comes onto the field, the goalposts come down, and it's absolute bedlam in Starkville, Mississippi, Saturday night.
As it should be.
And the administration happily cutting that check.
That's right.
To the SEC.
That's a big win, as you said. On paper, Mississippi State should have went down easily to Arizona. So good win for that. As I said, I almost went to script this week in college football, but there was a few upsets for sure. So
let's stay in the Southeastern Conference, shall we?
Yes, let's talk about Florida playing for the win and then losing it right
Florida
at the end.
Would prefer we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida absolutely positively would not want us talking about this game, but we do have to talk about it.
Yes.
Man, it is dark days in Gainesville, Florida right now.
Yes.
It really is dark.
Yep.
And this was a paycheck. This was a paycheck game. I think
definitely was.
USF
definitely
got
was.
half a mil.
Yep.
They got half a mil.
Oof.
But I do love these games when the paycheck goes out to the school to bring in the school, and the school goes home not only with the cash but the W.
That's it. That's it.
I love that.
Coming
Absolutely
into the swamp.
Love that. And South Florida.
Yep.
Going
That's
into the swamp.
Two ranked teams in the last 2 weeks South Florida's taken out. So
great start. Great start to the season. Week 1, that
Boise
mind-blowing win over Boise State. In a game where Boise State flat out did not show up.
Nah.
And South Florida boat raced them.
Yeah.
And then to make the trip up I-75, I think it's about I want to say about 100 miles up from Tampa to Gainesville, Florida. I mean, they're neighbors.
Yeah.
They're on the west coast of Florida, on the Gulf Coast of Florida. USF goes up, wins at 18-16 in a fantastic game. Florida led this thing for a while. It was 9-6 at halftime.
Yep.
Florida basically led through the first half.
Yes.
And then, touchdown late third quarter. USF takes the lead. They get a safety. A couple of minutes later, they're up 15-9. Florida answers back, touchdown early in the fourth, though. Eugene Wilson, 4-yard touchdown catch, made it 16-15. And then at the gun, Nico Gramatica. And American football fans, you know the Gramatica name. That is Martin Gramatica's kid, the longtime kicker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I believe the nephew of a kicker who embarrassingly injured himself in a game. Bill Gramatica was the kicker for the Arizona Cardinals, probably 20 years ago. Had to go on injured reserve when he celebrated a first quarter field goal by jumping around and blowing out his knee.
Oh. Ouch.
One of the most embarrassing injuries in football history. The video of it is epic.
I'll have to look that up.
Go find it somewhere.
I'll have to go look that up.
Go find it. Go do a search for it. I'm sure it's here on YouTube somewhere. Yep. And I will say in advance, you're welcome.
That's right. So that was an excellent win from South Florida. So now they're sitting number 18, ranked 18 in the nation. So
now here's the thought for thought for you. Now we'll talk about their next game because I'll mention it right now. They're going to Miami this week.
That's right. That's
for
right.
Week 3.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this? Imagine this scenario. If South Florida goes in and beats Miami, the number 5 team in the country, you thought Boise State was a signature win? You thought Florida was a signature win? No. Miami. If South Florida goes in and beats Miami, that is the signature win for South Florida. And you're opening up the possibility when we get into the playoff rankings later this year that we're going to have we could potentially have 2 group of 5 teams make the 12-team playoff. Because there would be a scenario where, let's say, South Florida runs the table, goes 12-0, makes the conference championship game, and loses by 1 on a field goal at the gun.
Yeah.
To lose their conference title. They would not be a one of the 5 best conference champions. Somebody else would get that spot. But South Florida would be putting themselves in a position where they could get an at-large bid because of the 3 scalps they've got at the top of their season, Boise, Florida, and Miami. That is a scenario. That is a legitimate scenario that could play out come the end of the season.
Yep.
So it'll be something really interesting to watch, especially if South Florida wins Saturday night against Miami. And I will tell you right now, I am putting Miami on upset alert.
Ooh.
Because I am buying what South Florida is selling me right now. They have looked fantastic against Boise. They look great fighting back against Florida. Now, it could be a case that Florida just sucks.
Yep.
And, we're about to see a coach get fired.
Yes.
Down in Gainesville, Florida. But I really like what South Florida's been doing this year in these first 2 games. Miami, this is a game that Miami cannot take lightly.
No.
They have got to come in and put a stamp on it and, just bury South Florida.
Yeah.
Because you let South Florida hang around, you're in trouble.
It's going to be interesting to see. I reckon South Florida is definitely going to be the dark horse for this season. Definitely a team to watch. 2 ranked teams taken out in the first 2 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Miami with Carson Beck at the helm down there. So it's going to be interesting. That is for sure.
Yeah, Carson Beck cannot have moments like he did at Georgia with throwing picks.
No.
He's got to be clean.
Yep. I think the first, they've got 2 wins on the board already, and I think he's been doing fairly well down there. Fairly well. So.
Oh yeah. And Miami's got a really great win on their resume already. Yeah. They beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They beat Notre Dame, week 1. So that's a great win.
Yeah.
But, could be somewhat canceled out if they happen to get upset Saturday.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting one to watch for sure for next week. So, around the rest of the
way, product placement. By the way, some little product placement for you.
We're not sponsored by Dr. Pepper, but we'll definitely take that on. We are
not sponsored, but in a complete coincidence. I normally drink Pepsi, but the soda machine out in the hall, they didn't have Pepsi except in a can, and I don't like my soda in a can. No. So I went with Dr. Pepper, of course, right. A proud sponsor of the college football playoff, and welcome to Fansville.
That's right. So,
and by the way, if Dr. Pepper, if you're watching this, call me.
call me. We'll work something out. That's right.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
That's right. So around the rest of the before we get into these the border war that was on Saturday. That was our main game we watched on YouTube Live. Before we get to that, how do you feel about the rest of the SEC? I think everything pretty much went to script.
Yeah, it pretty well went according to form. I mean, looking at the top 25, let's talk about the blowouts because we do need to talk about these.
Yes,
because we had some absolutely
massive scores. That's right.
Yeah, right at the top of the top 25, Ohio State 70-0 over Grambling. Now about the only highlight from that game was the fact the Grambling band was there.
Yeah,
that was pretty much.
There was not much.
Of course,
not much.
Of course, the Grambling band, I mean, that's worth the price of admission alone, let's be honest. But not the you didn't learn much from Ohio State other than the fact they've got a whole lot of talent and Grambling doesn't.
Yes. Their new quarterback just saying seems pretty impressive so far. So
yeah, I mean, his numbers, impressive as you would expect. By the way, just looking at it, Ohio State actually did cover the spread.
Oh, okay.
The spread was 55.5. It opened at 55.5. Wound up closing at 51.5. So, if you took Ohio State and laid 100 points, congratulations. And go to the window to collect your winnings. But Sayan was, great numbers, 18 of 19.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive numbers, that's for sure.
4 touchdowns, 18 of 19, and Penn State 34-0 over FIU. That's not a great offensive performance from Penn State. It's solid, don't get me wrong. Defensive performance, when you're hanging a goose egg on your opponent, defense played pretty good.
Yes.
Now let's talk about some other teams in the top 25. At the top of the top 25. LSU. What the hell was that against La Tech?
Yes.
23-7.
Yes. Not very convincing.
Georgia.
Not very convincing.
28.
Yeah.
No, definitely not very convincing. Could partially have been a hangover from the Clemson game because that was a marquee matchup in week 1 that LSU went on the road and won. So could have been a bit of a hangover.
Yeah.
But 23-7. You got to do a little bit better to in those type of games to impress the voters.
Yeah.
Georgia, kind of the same thing. 28-6 over Austin Peay.
Yeah, not very convincing
performance.
at all.
The offense a little bit sluggish.
Yes.
Once again so that's something maybe we keep in the back of our mind because guess what? Saturday they're in Knoxville.
Yep.
They're going to Knoxville to take on the Vols in front of 105,000 at Neyland wearing orange. That is going to be a massive showdown. Game day is going to be Game day is going to be at Neyland on Saturday. The goalpost should probably prepare, maybe wear some flotation devices. I'm just saying.
That's it.
The rest of the scoreboard, Miami, impressive over Bethune-Cookman, as you would expect, 45-3. Yep. Got to give some props to Oregon. Now, let's talk about your Ducks real quick. 69-3.
69-3.
There'd been a little bit of chirping in the week in the week leading up to the game. Mike Gundy talking about the resources and money and how much money Oregon has spent on their roster.
Yep.
Word got back to Eugene and Lenny didn't call off the dogs for a while.
No. I think the quote was, "We're going to break the scoreboard," which they did. 69-3 was pretty impressive.
They pretty much did.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go for triple figures.
Yeah.
I really thought they were thinking about. I believe they were at least.
Yes.
They at least had the thought in their head.
Yes.
And let's hang 100 on them.
Yeah,
what
that's
the
right.
heck?
That's right. And obviously,
Texas,
2 pick sixes in a row in our Oregon game as well, back to back. So that was pretty impressive.
They were up what? They were up 14-0 in 3 offensive plays in the first quarter. I mean, that game was over before. That game was over when Oklahoma State boarded the plane in Stillwater.
That's right.
That game was over. Texas, a nice bounce back from the Ohio State loss. Granted, it was San Jose State.
Yes.
But Arch Manning, after the week before in Columbus, where he really struggled, and I'm not going to say he played a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a massive improvement, and he had a 5-minute stretch, first quarter, late first, early second. Wow.
Yes.
Now we see what everybody was talking about with Arch Manning.
Yeah.
That's the type of performance we were expecting. We were waiting to see from Arch Manning, and he gave it. He was not perfect by any stretch of imagination. Early, especially first drive or two, he was missing passes. He was short. He was long. He was tall. His passes were, shall we say, inaccurate at times. But, man, that 5-minute stretch, he was dropping the ball in a bucket.
Yep. 4 touchdowns in 5 minutes.
For 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah. And then later on ran for another one in a 38-7 win. Shall we talk about Clemson?
Yeah. Clemson, man, I think they're probably lucky to win. I got to tell you, against Troy. So 27-16.
They were another team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that score line is very flattering to Clemson.
Yes.
Because they were another team, kind of like Arizona State.
Yep.
Against Mississippi State. They were on the canvas looking for their mouthpiece at the count of 6.
Yep.
Against Troy? Troy?
Yep.
That shouldn't be happening in Death Valley. And that's got to be raising a lot of questions for Clemson fans. Are we actually as good as we think we are?
Yes.
That's got to be planting that seed of doubt. After the LSU loss, figure, okay, we got Troy coming in. Let's just go.
Yeah, that's it. Let's get a big score, and they just win. Yeah.
And listen, this was happening for a while, but this was Clemson.
Yeah.
This was Troy.
Yeah. Yeah. So they got Georgia Tech coming up this week as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go against GT there.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. That's going to be an interesting game against Clemson. We'll get an idea where Clemson is. With this Georgia Tech game, because I suspect, obviously, this is not Clemson of 7-8 years ago.
No,
when they were competing for national championships.
Yeah, when
they were winning national championships. We are not there right now. I've got a sneaking suspicion we're watching the fall of Clemson.
Yes.
Back into the pack. They spent a long time way up here.
Yeah.
They're falling back to the pack right now.
So they're sitting on
in terms of national prominence.
12 in the rankings at the moment, which I think depends how they're going against Georgia Tech. They might be out. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go.
If they lose to Georgia Tech, it's very possible they're going to be. Yeah, very possible they'd be out if or very close to out if they lose to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
One other game I want to mention before. Well, no, we'll fold that into the next next talking point.
Yeah.
Because we got to talk about one unranked game.
Okay.
And and it was a case of, it was kind of the schedule kind of dictated. Yeah, we could have done Michigan and Oklahoma on YouTube on Saturday night. But when you've got a rivalry that's been dormant for 14 years, that dated back to 1891 when these schools first played.
Yep.
I mean, this game was the birth of homecoming, the tradition of homecoming in football.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The 1911 game. The 1911 game between Missouri and Kansas. We didn't touch on this Saturday during the game because the game was really good.
Yeah.
And we didn't get sidetracked a lot. Which is our norm on YouTube when we're doing our game. The tradition, the first 20 games between Missouri and Kansas, the first 20 border wars, 19 of them were played in Kansas City.
Okay.
The 20th was played in St. Joseph, which is about 45 miles north of Kansas City.
Okay.
So there had never been a home game. There had never been an on-campus game in the border war, the Missouri-Kansas border war, in the first 20 years of the rivalry until 1911 when they played the game in Columbia.
Yep.
And the administrator, the president, I can't think of the guy's name at the time, said, he put the call out to alumni. Come home. Come home for the Kansas game.
Yep.
And that's where we got the tradition of homecoming. That's the traditional thought of how homecoming started as a tradition, not only in college football, but in high school football as well. Where the alumni for one game, the graduates of the school come to the game. It's a celebration of the history of the program, of the school.
Yep.
And it's an absolutely beautiful thing, and that's where it started, was the Missouri-Kansas game in 1911.
Wow.
And of course, the 2025 edition, the dormancy of the rivalry is over.
Yeah.
For the first time in 14 years, Missouri and Kansas go at it on the football field, and I will tell you about the first 15 minutes. I
gotta say, that game was probably the most I've seen you go up and then down. It's like boisterous, then really quiet, then boisterous, then really quiet. Oh my God!
What did I tell you leading up to this game? I bring the content when I'm a neutral. Last year we saw one Missouri game, and you saw the highs and lows.
Yep.
But I told you, imagine me when it is the team that I absolutely hate the most.
That's it.
In all the world, and my school is playing them.
Yep.
For the first time in 14 years.
Yep.
Imagine how I'm going to be. And you saw it. The first drive was brilliant. The touchdown drive. And then I'm like, the rest of the first quarter was all Kansas.
Yeah.
And I was scared at the end of that first quarter when Kansas was up 21-6, because I was seriously, deathly afraid that Kansas was going to blow us out of our own building.
That's it.
But, credit to Missouri. They fought back.
Yep.
They got the lead late and then sealed it with a long touchdown run there late in the fourth quarter, and then finally finished it off with an absolutely brilliant interception. I mean, that was magic. That interception was magical.
Yeah.
I mean, where they originally called it incomplete, and went to review, and you saw the black pebbles pop up inside the field of play.
That was a great one.
Before the guy's knee hit, and I'm like, that's a pick. That's our ball.
that was a close match game. That was a great game.
But what was this was your first border war?
Yes.
To watch. What was your impression of that game? Just sitting there as a
neutral,
as a fan, seeing the atmosphere.
Yes. So because it hasn't been,
what was your impression?
Because it hasn't been a game for 14 years, I think next year it's going to be even more intense because a lot of people, they've grown up, they haven't seen that border war. So I think now that they've got a taste of it this year, I think next year is going to be more intense because they know what to expect. So you see some of these rivalries where it's every year and that tension is there and tension is there. I think because they haven't had it for 14 years, maybe a little mild, but I think next year it's going to be even better. So because that tension is going to be there, and
next year in
Kansas is going to be looking for blood, next year. So
absolutely, absolutely, next year the game is in Lawrence. Yeah, Kansas is going to want some revenge after this one.
That's right.
And listen, let me be serious for a second, okay? I talk about how I absolutely hate Kansas, and I do. It's a football rivalry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am a Missouri native. I was born 45 miles north of Columbia.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been a Missouri Tiger fan my entire life, and we're talking almost 50 years now.
Yeah.
That I've been a Missouri Tiger fan. So I talk about they are my rival. They are the rival.
Yeah.
They are the team I want to see Missouri beat the most anytime they are on the schedule. I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball, chess, water polo, horseshoes. I don't care. If it's Missouri against Kansas, I want Missouri winning.
Yeah.
But I will tell you something. The football rivalry, it is a beautiful thing when both Missouri and Kansas are really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And Kansas, they came up short Saturday, but they played a whale of a ball game. They had every chance to win that football game on Saturday.
Yep.
And that's the type of game I want to see. Yeah, I would like to see Missouri hang 100 on Kansas every year. I know it's not going to happen. But, if I can't get that, honestly, Missouri hanging 100 on Kansas every year, that'd get boring.
Yes, yeah.
It honestly would get boring. We got to have some good games for a true rivalry to.
Yes, it's got to go back and forth, and that's the way it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It does have to go back and forth and have a lot of close games. Yeah, and one of the things I love saying is familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah.
Okay. 120 years of history.
Yeah.
And even and that's just on the football field. Throw back another 40 years back to the Civil War era when you actually had battles being fought between Missouri and Kansas. Lawrence burning, the guerrilla raids into Missouri from Kansas. And the football rivalry was just an extension. It was the peaceful equivalent, where people aren't actually getting shot and killed or blown up in a war setting. Football is a civilized version of that. And we got it for 120 years, and to have it back for one Saturday for the first time in 14 years, to get it back-to-back years, this year and next year, it's a special thing. And, I look forward to the game next year, seeing the game in Lawrence. And I will tell you right now, though, Lawrence is going to burn again.
So that win is
I revert to type.
So Missouri snuck into the rankings 25. They're standing at the moment. So so that should be a issue for the moment.
Real quick,
real
quick before we get into the rest of the the preview of this week coming up and the new top 25 poll.
Yeah.
Got to give a mention to a couple of other games, 3 other games real quick.
Okay.
Got to mention the Cy-Hawk game.
Oh, yes.
The Iowa State game.
Yeah.
That is that's another very special rivalry for the people up north, the state that I just spent way too much time going through the last couple of days, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day. That's a special game in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
The two major universities of Iowa play every year. They're not in the same conference. Iowa State's in the Big 12. Iowa's in the Big 10.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've ever actually been conference rivals.
Okay.
They've ever actually been in the same conference.
Yeah.
But they play every year. It is a special game in the state of Iowa every year when it happens. And this year, wind up with a really good one. And Iowa State wins at home against Iowa for the first time since 2011.
Yes.
I mean, this had been a series where, kind of the road team had dominated. Iowa had won 7 in a row in Ames.
Yeah.
And, Iowa State gets a 16-13 win in a game that, honestly was played to Iowa's liking, to the Hawkeyes liking. They're a team that they're not going to put a lot of points on the board.
Yeah.
And they want to get into that defensive slugfest, and Iowa State was willing to comply with that. They were perfectly willing to trade blows with Iowa, and they wind up coming out with a 16-13 win. And another rivalry that had been dormant for almost a decade, Baylor and SMU, that wound up being a barn burner.
Yeah.
SMU was up 2 touchdowns with 5 minutes to go. Baylor comes back, wins in 2 overtimes in Dallas.
Yeah.
A very impressive win for Baylor, over SMU. And that could be a game that could springboard them. And also, I'm going to mention real quick, because we haven't said this name at all today. Alabama, 73-0.
Yes. I mean,
against Louisiana Monroe.
That was the only outcome that could have happened for Alabama. They had to win big.
That was the only.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the only acceptable outcome for anybody in the state of Alabama. I mean, we had people talking about winning Powerball Saturday night, the $1.8 billion Powerball jackpot, and people talking about, well, I'm going to use $70 million of that to fund the Kalen DeBoer buyout.
That's right. That's right.
But I've got to mention this stat real quick, because there was history made in that game.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, 17 of 17.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Yep.
226 yards, 3 touchdowns. That is the most completions in SEC history without an incompletion.
17. Wow. That's
nobody had ever gone 17 of 17 passing in the history of the SEC.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson did that Saturday night. Granted, against Louisiana.
It is against Louisiana.
But you know what? A record's a record.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And 3 touchdowns for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama goes after that little adventure, coming off 73 points. So it's going to be interesting to see how they
definitely
the rest of it.
Definitely a better performance than they put up against Florida State. Now let's see how, when they get into the SEC schedule, what's the real Alabama?
Yes. Yeah. When they I mean, it's going to be interesting, because obviously the first 2 games they should have won easy. Florida State should have been a walkover. So, yeah, I think you're right about once they actually get into, this conference games, how it's going to really affect them. So, they've got Wisconsin on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, on paper, that should be a win for Alabama too. So,
that could be a very tricky game. But we kind of thought the same thing about that game last year up in Madison.
Yes.
And, it really wasn't.
No, that's right. And then they really hit it with Georgia on the 28th of September. So that's going to be a telling. I think that's definitely going to be a telling game. So, the other
entire weekend, I mean, that schedule.
Yeah. Because I was going to say the other interesting game we had on the weekend there was Arkansas versus Arkansas State. First time they've ever played each other at all. And then obviously Arkansas the Razorbacks came out with a 56 win on that. I'm surprised they haven't played each other. When I heard that, I thought, they're in the same state.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so
I did not realize that Arkansas and Arkansas State had never played each other in football. I would have thought that would be maybe not an annual game, but
definitely something they've done before. But no, apparently not. So that was a very interesting little tidbit there for the weekend as well too. So, so looking forward into week 3. We do have the game I think we're going to do on YouTube will be Tennessee and Georgia. I think that's going to be the biggest game on the weekend, I think. There's a few to watch out for. Miami and South Florida, as we were pointing out before, I think will be a fantastic game.
Yep.
Notre Dame is at Texas A&M, and LSU is at Florida. So I think there will be some interesting game.
That Notre Dame A&M game, that's in South Bend.
Oh, Texas. Okay.
Because remember last year Notre Dame went to College Station and beat A&M the week before they came home and lost to Northern Illinois, which still makes no sense to me how that happened.
That is,
they went from the highest of highs, winning at Kyle Field, losing to Northern Illinois.
That's it. I know. So that's the plan for this coming week.
Tennessee, Georgia. We touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
That we're gonna find out we'll find out what Georgia is this week. We'll find out what Tennessee is this week too, because that is absolutely the game of the week.
Yes, for sure. That will be the one we have on YouTube as well too. So, but we'll watch a couple more offline as well on our Discord as well. We'll probably watch the Notre Dame one too. We'll catch a few anyway. So. Let's talk quickly about the rankings. We might bounce
through. Yeah, we might bounce through a few games.
Yes, I think there's a few that are kind of on the same time. So, I know Oregon's at Northwestern this week as well. We've played 2 at home, two easy wins at home for Oregon. So, and obviously the week after that we'll have our whiteout game at Penn State. So, which is going to be. That would definitely be the YouTube game that we'll be doing that week as well too. So that's in a couple of weeks. So, definitely looking forward to that one too.
Yep.
So looking over the rankings, there's no real surprise. Obviously, Alabama's back up to 19 instead of 21. Missouri's slipped in the end there at 25, which is fantastic for you guys. Let me do that over there. Is that the right one? Yep. Obviously, Ohio State keeping the number 1 spot there. 2 convincing wins for week 1 and 2. Penn State, we got LSU. We'll see how long LSU stays at number 3. They're kind of struggling a little bit at the moment. I think their wins have definitely not been convincing, I don't think, for the LSU. So
no.
I think Georgia's kind of been in the background.
But now they've got to get
this year. We haven't really spoke about Georgia at all this year, I don't think so.
Not a lot. We will, of course, with the game with their game against Tennessee. But mentioning LSU, they've kind of got a chance for a get-right game. They're playing Florida on Saturday night in Death Valley in Baton Rouge. So that's a chance for a get-right game. Oregon and Georgia, they flip-flopped, and you see what the pollsters are rating here. Oregon, massive blowout over Oregon State. Georgia, less than impressive. So Oregon went from 6-4. Georgia went from 4-6. Miami stayed at number 5.
Yeah. It's gonna be a little flip flopping there in that top 10, I think, for a little while. So it's nice to see
when we get into the conference season.
Yeah. So Florida State's sitting on
we're
number 10. That brings a smile to my face every time I see that. It's like, oh my God, what the
Listen, after they spent the entire year last year as the butt of our jokes, and and let's be honest, Florida State gave us content.
Yes,
gave us content for the whole flipping season. To see them come into 2025 and play like they have, win against Bama. They handled their business Saturday against East Texas A&M, and I want to stress the East.
Yes,
in Texas A&M, because this was not the team from College Station.
No, makes a big difference.
77-3. And now Florida State gets the week off to prepare for Kent State.
Yes, that's right. So it's gonna be interesting.
One quick mention.
Yep.
One quick mention. Number 11, South Carolina. They won 38-10, but they struggled for a little while early in that game.
Yeah.
Before they finally pulled away at the end. So not a great performance for them, but a win is a win is a win.
Yeah.
And now, oh my goodness, look who they're playing Saturday night.
That's right.
Look who's coming into Columbia, South Carolina. It's gonna be Vandy.
That's it.
And the Vandy pimp was up.
Yes.
You see SEC shorts this week?
I have not. I gotta watch that. I haven't done Matt's either, so I've got to have a look at Matt Mitchell's as well.
Welcome back to the Vandy pimp. Yep, he back.
That's good. So interesting week of college football. On paper, it kind of looked like there wasn't much going on, but in the end, it was a very interesting week. I think some very telling scores, some interesting results, and then obviously history making in Arkansas and Arkansas State playing together for the first time too. So
a good mix of games.
Yes.
Even in a week where we're not expecting a lot.
Yep.
Just based on how the two teams in every game look on paper.
Yeah.
We wound up with some really interesting ball games, even in kind of an off week. And now we get to this week's schedule. We've hit on some of these games. Kind of looking through here, see what maybe catches my eye. Beyond the usual. The Georgia Tennessee game. That's a 2:30 Central kickoff.
Yes.
On Saturday. So I'm a little surprised that wasn't that's not the primetime game Saturday night.
I guess because Alabama's playing, but I guess Georgia and Tennessee I thought would have been the primetime, but no.
Yeah, they've ABC's doing Florida and LSU in prime time. Maybe they didn't want to put Georgia and Tennessee head to head with the Notre Dame A&M game because that's prime time on NBC.
Yes,
Saturday night. So maybe that was ABC's thinking there to split to get that game out of the prime time slot, have it in the traditional A game slot for the SEC, 3:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
Like it had been, on CBS for so many years. But it's another week where you don't have a whole lot happening. You got a couple of more really good matchups. The Notre Dame A&M game, obviously, Tennessee, Georgia.
Yeah.
But it's a whole lot of on paper mismatches. But sometimes those mismatch weeks wind up being the craziest ones of the season.
You never know what's going to happen.
And
you never know.
And I am absolutely here for it.
Yep. Yeah, just looking through some of those games, there's definitely a few that we will probably flick through on the weekend on our Discord. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, Tennessee, Georgia will be the live game, kicking off at 5:30 my time, which is it the 3:30 Eastern time? Is that 3:30?
That's 2:30. That's 3:30 Eastern
something
time.
like that. Yep. But we'll be here for it too. So, looking forward to that one as well.
And again, when we're flipping through games, the evening, the primetime slate, if the game we're watching on Discord, isn't all that great. We will happily flip around to whatever looks really good. We did it at a fair amount last year, and again, that is a reason to sign up for Patreon. The $10 a month level that gets you access to the bar.
That's right.
Come on in with me, with Lyle, with Josh, with Blair, with whoever is part of Patreon, with Darth, who has joined us the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Come on into the bar, bring you the beverage of your choice.
That's it.
And we'll talk some football.
That's it.
We'll be like, we'll be like blokes at the bar watching the game on the big screen, eating wings. Come on in. That's the reason to sign up for the Patreon.
That's exactly right. That's where we have the fun. So, but YouTube will be live from 5:30 my time, so look out for that notification. If you want to check out the Patreon, all the information is down in the description as well too. So, So Chris, thank you very much again for another great week here on 50 Yard Line. A lot of stuff to go through, some interesting score lines. We'll be here again next week.
Apologies for the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is a little sketchy in this hotel.
Right. So we got through.
We got through it.
Yeah.
We hit everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And now we catch our breath. Get prepared for Saturday.
That's it. Some more footy.
Another great week of college football.
Exactly. So everybody watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. John, thank you very much for that super chat as well too. Putting up with him for 64 months. Damn, John, that's a long bloody time, mate. That is a long time supporting myself on the channel. So thank you very much, everybody in the chat there. So we'll be back again next week. Thank you very much again, Chris, our local expert here on our channel. We'll be back again on Saturday for some more footy, guys. We'll see you then.